what's up, guys? Welcome to the Fix This Build That Sunday Night Live show. I'm Brad.
I'm Susan.
And we just had a kid slam their finger in the door. So we're starting just
we're
a couple minutes
late.
But still pretty much on time.
That overrules everything when you got a teary kid coming to you when they slam their finger in the door.
Like, all right, everybody in bed.
Never mind.
Like,
I know, but he's okay.
But he's good.
He's not going to lose the finger.
He's good. Let's see. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Travis Porter, what's up? Matthew Van Blaricom and Razor in the house over on YouTube. By the way, Instagram folks, please come join us on YouTube. Fix This Build That live on YouTube. Way better. But let's see who do we have over here on YouTube. Let's see. It said Susan Rodriguez.
What?
What's up, guys? Clark Calvert. Who's Clark Calvert? What's up, Clark? If that is indeed, I mean, it's obviously
if it's really
Clark
you.
Calvert, but,
oh, we know a Clark Calvert. Yeah.
So Eddie, what's up? Austin G, what are we drinking tonight? We are drinking, Isaac Andrews. Yeah. Island Coastal Lager. So there we go, dude. I need to talk to Clark and have them sponsor the beer for the show.
Yeah.
Clark, hit me up. Text me, baby. We'll get some word out about Littman and all your fine beers.
I would maybe even stop being healthy to drink that beer just for tonight or whatever night.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. We're getting the Tina Fey comments again. Extracurricular builder, what is up? All right. You do kind of look like Tina Fey. I mean,
I get that a lot.
I know.
Now.
I know.
Maybe it's the
glasses. Maybe
it's the glasses and the haircut. I don't know. Whatever.
All right. Before we get started, I did want to thank a few new members who joined the Builders Club, and I keep wanting to say MFP Patron Tribe.
I don't know why.
So for all of you who've been asking about Made for Profit, there's some stuff going on. Where John and I
are being discussed.
Things are being discussed. The phoenix may rise from the ashes.
Wow.
But we'll see.
That was epic.
Or just,
in the words of our 12-year-old, that was epic. Yeah.
Or a turtle may rise out of the pond. I don't know. All right. So I want to welcome some new Builders Club members. I don't know if people are just messing with me this time. I had a hard time with some of these names. Felix, which is easy.
We got that. Yep. Hey, Felix.
I'm going to go with SIFIRID.
SIFIRID.
Yeah, there's a lot of extra I's in there.
I'm saying SIFIRID.
I'm going with SIFIRID. And then David Galusha. So thank you so much, guys, for joining the Builders Club. Basically, the Builders Club is the inner circle of the FTBT family, where they get extra updates, early access to videos, features in the video credits for the videos, as well as free plans. All those are options in there. So if you want to go check it out, you can go over to fixthisbuildthat.com/Builders Club.
People are sharing their horror stories over here
of finger smashing.
Smashing.
Yeah. Well, I know that's about.
That makes me want to throw up a little bit.
It does make me want to throw up a little bit as well.
So.
But it's all good. Yeah, I don't want to I think we had a degloving conversation. Didn't we?
Gosh, we did. Who did that? Oh.
Jimmy Fallon.
It was Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, that's right. All right,
we can move on to happier topics.
Brian, Rick.
Brian's here.
What's
Rick,
up?
Matt.
Katie.
Yep.
We're getting the usuals in here. Jill Norcross, how you doing, Jill? And she says Tina Fey as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Evidently, I look really like Tina Fey today.
This week,
call me Tina.
This week has been kind of a cleanup week around the shop and as well as in the business. So I did get a tool cart assembled that is my new welding cart. So if you didn't see that, check it out. It's on my Instagram feed. I am loving it. It's sitting right over there.
It looks slick.
It does, because it's
really
all
does.
Black. It's like murdered out.
Yeah, it's like not shiny black,
Oh yeah, it's a nice matte
black.
It looks tough. It's a Husky toolbox that is a 27-inch toolbox, I think 18 inches deep, and then I got a kit from ZT Fabrications. Brian sent that over to me, and you basically weld it together, replace the back wheels with this whole platform and larger wheels, and then you can put your gas bottles on there. So I'm doing 75-25, a 75-25 mix for MIG welding, shielded MIG welding. But I could put another one on there and do 100% argon for TIG welding if you guys are into welding at all. Those take two different gases for shielding, and it is
sounds so technical.
Awesome. It is. I got my Lincoln 210 MP on there, which is a fantastic welder, and it's just so concise now because I got all my things there in the drawers, and they were I had some stashed under here, and then I had some falling everywhere, and some that just wasn't anywhere. was just kind of like stacked in odd spots, and now I have it all in the toolbox.
Right. Which is great. That's kind of the ideal situation.
Gosh, so good.
Right?
And and it's got little cord wraps on it too that I drilled into the side of it. Highly
He's very excited about this. Yeah.
Super excited.
It's really nice.
So that was the big accomplishment for the week.
Well, I feel like we had a lot of other things happening.
We
this
did.
week.
So personally, we just ordered
Oh,
cabinets.
Super
Your hair's like
excited.
going everywhere.
I know. Tina Fey, you know.
Tina Fey.
What
What can you do?
Just blame Tina.
We just Susan went in and we ordered counters. So we have old Corian counters, you know,
they look okay, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
They've
they're
held
not
up
like
well.
offensive.
No.
They're not attractive.
They're not exciting.
But they're not offensive.
No, they're just kind of there, holding things.
Yeah, they hold dishes well.
Yeah.
And we've been wanting to upgrade those for a while, so we've kind of been saving some money to do that. And so the house was built in 2006, 2007, something like that, and they're original to the house. So they're that was in style back then, the Corian solid surface.
Yeah.
But we really have wanted some stone. And so stone.
Some stone.
And we looked at quartz, we looked at granite, and we're going to end up going with granite.
We think we're going with granite.
It depends upon the slabs. Because granite, if you've shopped for counters, I mean, it's like so different. Like slab to slab. Like somebody's like, this picture of like...
Oh, yeah. I was on my phone yesterday morning when I should have been sleeping, like Googling different granites, looking at people's pictures in their kitchens. They were vastly different on the same granite.
Yeah.
So we have an idea of what we want, but we're gonna like call an audible possibly.
Yeah. So we're gonna
when we go to the place.
We put the order in, and then what you do is you go to the place. We ordered it through Home Depot.
Yep. So
you put in the order, then you go. And then they let you look at the actual slabs, and you can say, yeah, I want this one or this one and that one. We'll probably end up having to do two, one and a half slabs.
Yeah.
I don't know if they cut them in half or whatever.
Oh, I don't know. And if we don't like any of the granites for some reason, then we could switch to quartz, which we weren't against quartz, but we liked the idea of granite.
That's what we're doing. In Home Depot, they had a sale that ended today, so that's why we went and did it today.
Yep. And we're going to have our cabinets painted.
Basically, you get the price. They're like graded, like A, B, C, D. The higher, the larger the letter. The further in the alphabet, the more expensive you get. Yeah,
you get to like F.
But during the sale, you
really
can pay. You pay one less letter grade than what you're getting.
And it was pretty sizable. I mean, it was like a big discount
or something like that. He said.
I thought it was 12%.
12.
Whatever.
22,
it was a discount.
87.
Yeah.
I could just throw numbers out.
It was a better sale than the one that's starting tomorrow. So I felt good about that.
We did it.
Anyway, whatever. This is a lot of conversation about our kitchen.
We're excited about it. So
yeah, we've been talking. Like we are the people that will talk about something.
For a long
time. We've been thinking about this for years. So this is a big moment. Like we actually ordered countertops. I'm so excited. Yay!
High five.
All right.
Hook and Ladder Charters is going to be building the flip top next week. You're going to love it.
Oh, yes. That'll be great.
That's fantastic. Welcome to Team Flip Top. Early welcome. Picking up the slab is the most fun thing ever, Willa says.
I hope that, yeah.
Make sure you work with your installer on the layout too. Absolutely. So they're going to be coming in and doing the final measurements. We gave them like the square footage based off my measurements, and then we gave them a drawing.
I didn't even tell you this. The guy told me that the vendor that they use in Nashville, the one that they...
Does he have laser?
I don't know.
Okay.
He didn't tell me that.
Sorry.
That would have been great to know, but I didn't ask that. No, he said they used to use this other vendor like Stoneworks or something, and they were amazing, but they're out of business right now because the tornado that came through Nashville hit not their factory with all the granite. I was like, wait a minute, all the granite got hit by a tornado? He's like, no, the one with all the machinery in it that cuts everything. I'm like, that's got to be so expensive.
And cutting.
So they're slowly coming back, but they're using.
That stinks.
Yeah, I know. That's a huge hit to take as a business. Anyway, I just thought it was kind of interesting and unfortunate for them. Yeah, I know. But it sounds like they're doing okay.
Let's see here. What do we got going on? Tools for Dominion. What's up? We got Andrew, Designable. How's it going, my man? Elliot Sotomayor is in the house. How's it going, Elliot?
Matthew's here.
And Jonathan Areces. It's a tropical storm. Oh, man.
There's another one, right? Beta. Yeah.
Tropical storm.
They're onto the second. somebody tell me if this is right. My understanding is if you go all the way through the alphabet once with
What was the
name
last one?
storms,
What
I
was
don't know.
the Z?
Like
What did-
Zelda.
what was-
Please say it was Zelda.
What was the X?
I don't know.
What was the X and the Z? Like, how do you have like they're like X? They're just like I just like Trump
Xander.
X.
Xavier. I don't know.
X gonna give it to you.
I mean, it could be a really cool name. But anyway, I think the second time they have to go through the alphabet, then they do alpha, beta, whatever. They do like the Greek alphabet. I might be making that up. I feel like I saw that somewhere.
Let us know.
I'm sure someone will know.
All right.
No, let us know.
Ronaldo Woodworks, how's it going? Bill Niemeyer over here on Instagrammers. By the way, if you're on Instagram, come join us on YouTube. We are at Fix This Build That Live. That is the YouTube channel where we do our live streaming, and we are live right now. So check it out.
Yeah.
Big Willie, let's see what kind of questions do we have over here in
I'm
the
looking.
in the old.
They're telling us what counters to
YouTubers.
get.
Oh, they're hitting up. Yeah. Well, it's believe me, we have done the research. We were in the analysis paralysis
For like
stage.
2 years.
Yeah. So while she's looking at that, I will tell you guys what I'm doing this week. So what I've decided, I talked about it last week, that we are going to be doing kind of a reordering of this whole situation over here. And I've been talking about it for a while. It is finally going to happen. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up the video. You're like,
So you need me
all
to-
on my, you're like,
Well, it's because you're always doing this to me.
I know.
So I have to fight back.
Okay. I'll go
We can elbow each other.
So basically, I'm going to be doing it in 3 parts for the different videos. And the first video is going to be doing the base cabinets and the basically platform in between the two. So I'm going to be taking these 2 base cabinets, basically duplicating those, except making drawers. So they're going to be 3 drawer base cabinets. And then putting a floating piece in the middle, obviously, for the miter saw. So I'll have 60 inches to the left, but I also have like a little notch back there. So I will have like 8 full feet to the left and then 60 inches to the right. And that's going to be the first video. The first video is going to be the base cabinet and then the bridge for the saw. And that'll be great. And then the second one is going to be the uppers. And I still haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do in between. So the uppers, I'll basically have the exact same thing except 25-ish inches over to the right. And then I may do like a small upper. I'm not sure what I want to do there yet because I'm going to also do disc collection. But that will be the second one. And then the third video will be doing, depending again how I do the desk collection, if I come in from the top, that might be in the second video. If I come in from the side, which I'm thinking about doing, I can't go behind it because I'm trying to keep the low profile. But if I come in the side, I'm going to come in the side and then behind here have small part storage. So it'll come under there and it'll be like I have like a little facade under there. So that'll be the third one. It'll be like the upgrade. So it's going to be like small part storage underneath as well as the fence and the movable fence and anything else around the actual dust collection. So I'm super excited about that one, and it'll be a great set of videos to kind of round out the whole thing.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna be great.
Let's see here. Gerson Prez says, why don't you build a boat?
Build a boat?
The biggest reason I would not build a boat is because I have no room for a boat.
No.
I, again, forgot to turn the
We don't
display
have room
off
for
on
a
this.
lot of things. A boat is definitely not small. You could build one of those little boats that they take out to little lakes in the cities, you know? It's always in movies, like old men
like a model boat,
putting their boats out on the
that's about
water.
it.
Yeah. I've got a question.
Giselle,
Ooh,
would you
I
please
feel like I
stop
always
kicking
knock
stuff?
something off of
Well,
this table.
when you're shooting your feet around there,
Well,
it's
it's
gonna happen.
comfortable. Sorry.
Okay. Let's see here. Hook and Ladder Charters. Just want to say I've bought plans from multiple makers on YouTube, and yours are by far the best.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hook
I
and
say
Ladder
that
Charters.
like I did
We
the plan.
really appreciate that. I feel swine. Any plans for a fishing rod holder?
Oh man,
I need
how
one.
have you not already made this?
Well, I have a fishing rod holder. It's called the front seat of my truck.
That is true.
I keep 3 rods in my truck, and I rarely ever have anybody in the front. I pick the kids up from school every day,
In the back,
and they
yeah.
sit in the back, and so nobody's in the front, so I've got 3 rods there.
I was so honored when we went to Home Depot together. This is our big excursion. We took the truck, and you moved your fishing rods.
I did. I was
for
like,
me. You're
well,
like,
we're gonna have to
I'll do
move
this
some
for
things.
Susan. Yeah. So, okay, I have questions here.
All right, I'm going to pop this out just so you'll get off me.
What? Pop it up. What?
Here.
I didn't know it could do that.
Well, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Try that out.
Well, all
Try
right.
that on for size.
I will try it on for size.
Plus, you can get like more in there. What was the question? What do we got?
I'm trying to find it now that you moved it.
I know.
It was about a grind. Oh, do you use a grinder jig to sharpen chisels? And which ones? This is Dennis Miko.
Yeah. Do we use a grinder jig? Did you figure out what the names were? The xylophone? Was that
Yeah,
actually
no. Jill responded and said, I'm correct. After they work their way through the alphabet, if the storm session continues, they branch into the Greek alphabet.
Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we get to Zeta, we're in big
I don't
trouble.
what do they do after the Greek alphabet?
They go to the
Other alphabets?
yeah
I don't know.
Orthodox.
Is that an alphabet?
I don't know.
That's a calendar, babe. Is
Whatever.
that a calendar? I don't know that. We don't know what that is.
I have no idea. I just said it.
We're just making stuff
up. Let's see here. Do I use a jig to sharpen chisels? I do, Dennis. The jig that I use is the WorkSharp 3000. There was like a crazy deal. I got a crazy deal on it. Way, like literally like 15 years ago. More than that, probably more like 18. Where like Home Depot was like closing them out, or they had some weird thing going on, and I got one for like $40 or something. And I think they're like $200. The one model is $100. And I think the other one's like $200. But it's basically it's not a ceramic. It's glass wheels. So it's a spinning disc, but it's horizontal. And you put sandpaper on it. So it's sandpaper. It's a lapping, kind of the scary sharp type system. So you work your way through the grits, and I think it starts at 120 grit. I think it's 120, 600, 1600, 3000, and then 6000 is what I have. You can also do a stropping one, but that's what I do. And there's a little jig on there, so you can do chisels. So it spins, and then you actually use the underside of it, and it's got a little ramp on there that's set at the micro bevel, which I think I do at 30. I think I do the primary bevel at 25 and the micro bevel at 30, I believe is what I have. And you just push it up and it hits the underside of the spinning thing. It works awesome. Like I said, I bought that a long, long time ago, and that's what I've used ever since. I tried my hand at some like diamond mesh films and like an actual like legit honing jig, and I was like, the other thing's way easier, so I just stuck with that. Barrio Woodworks, do you post builds that you weren't satisfied with the final outcome, and how does that affect one's brand?
Ooh, going deep.
Oh, he's going deep. Barrio, by the way, Barrio, you're always on, man. You need to come over to YouTube.
Come over to YouTube.
Yeah, Fix This Build That Live. We post everything. Like, there's no project that I do and I don't post it. I've never done a project and gotten to a point where I'm like, I'm not posting this.
I've never even like typically if something needs to get done or made around the house, I'll be like, well, we don't have to make a video out of it. And he's like, this is like.
I'm like, who are you?
I know.
Of course we have to make a video.
I'm outlawed, yeah.
But yeah, so I've never.
I think so.
More so, I would just delay and spend the extra time. So I have done
Yeah.
that where I'm like, oh man, this is not going right, or like. I can't, like several things recently, like the valet tray took a lot longer than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And, instead of rushing it and jacking things up and just being like, here it is, I just push it back. And that's a lot of the reason why, we have 2 to 3 weeks in between videos is because I am very picky.
Yeah.
And
I was going to say detail oriented.
detail oriented is a great word. Perfectionist
2 words,
could be
but yeah.
Detail/oriented, one word, hyphenated.
Okay. I'll take your question.
So that's why a lot of times why I delay or why projects are delayed is because I'm working through things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't like how this is just right, and so I'm like messing with it. So that's more my style.
Right.
Is
A lot
that
of, like
I
it'll
will,
just change shape during the build. Just
I'll just keep working at it until it's the way I want it versus
you don't really like
throwing
just
something out
turn
there.
out anything and do things as quickly as I mean we'd like to do things as quickly as possible, but sometimes your quickly as possible is just not that fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's not. We have questions. Whoa.
Yeah, go ahead.
Listen.
Yeah.
So Katie had asked a while back, Brad, did you ever have a build move off square overnight? My seat chest has moved an 1/8 of an inch off square from 4 p.m. last night to 10 a.m. this morning. Just to let you know, a lot of people have chimed in. They're wondering about the moisture meter,
moisture
content.
Yeah, that'll happen.
All that.
That'll happen. especially if you have milled it recently, because even if it's like on the drier side, if you take like a lot of material off of a piece of lumber, then you're like exposing all this new wood and the stresses. So if you've ever ripped something through the table saw and see a piece like literally like peel off, it's kind of the same idea, because it's like when it's in a larger chunk, those stresses kind of hold everything in check. But then when you peel off like a small portion, it's like the craziest thing. And I don't really fully understand why that happens, but yeah, you can peel it off. Like if you rip off a strip, it might just go wonky, and then the large piece is still square.
She said she's working with poplar, if that helps.
Yeah, I mean, poplar is a softer wood, which it can gain moisture. It's a less dense wood, so it's going to gain and release moisture more readily than like a maple or something like that. So yes, that can happen, and it's, there's not a lot of ways to solve it other than, depending upon where it is, you can do some bracing for it, or potentially have to, depends when you say your project. That sounds like it's already assembled. So she
said she had built the carcass.
Built the carcass, yeah. Well, hopefully, if it's a carcass, that sounds like it's some type of cabinet, that you can shore that up and either lock it in place with a back, because that is a lot of times when stuff racks. If you put something that spans the entire thing, or if you can do side straps, then those will both work.
Yep.
Smellytron 9000 loves the video. Thank you, Smellytron.
That's
so
great.
Does LDWIV. Ezel Woodworking. Sorry, I did skip your comment. Yes, Nashville. We are in Nashville, and we are Titans fans.
Yeah.
FJRA. Yo
Rodriguez.
Yo no estoy. No, yo no soy mexicano.
What?
Yo soy cubano. Mi abuelo.
So you're American and Cuban?
Mi abuelo es. How do I say that?
I'm going to translate you.
It's from Cuba.
Yes.
My grandfather's from Cuba. I've been studying Spanish for like right at 1 year.
It's been a while, yeah.
It's been a year.
It's been a year.
It's been a year.
It's a while.
It gives me like I've got a year streak going on.
I know. You're very proud.
It's actually like 368-day streak on my Duolingo.
It's pretty impressive.
And I'm liking it, man. Tannehill, I like Tannehill, by the way, for the Titans. I'm all about Tannehill. Mm-hmm. Let's see here.
He did a good job last year.
JBSHSU says, have you and other content creators ever talked about doing a joint project?
Sorry, what was the question?
I like to make stuff. Shop Nation, Fisher Shop. Yeah, I've done collabs with other folks, and it's typically, it's a lot easier to do like a two-person collab.
Yeah.
Somebody comes to your shop, you go to their shop. Obviously, with COVID, that's kind of jacked things up. I've had to cancel at least 2, maybe 3 integrations or collaborations. Thank you, that I had planned because of COVID. Mm-hmm. But like larger projects they're very difficult. For one, obviously timing and logistics. I mean, that's the biggest part, is just timing and logistics, and then getting somewhere where it makes sense and everybody can have unique content that fits their channel. It's much more difficult. So I'm much more prone to do something that is, one-on-one, go hang out with somebody. But going out to like Maker Ranch with Ben for Homemade Modern, I did that 2 years in a row. That should be coming up, but again, canceled. So
right.
No bueno.
Yep.
What do we got?
Okay.
You take a nap?
So I know.
Take a nap?
I'm yawning.
Lay down. Put you around the table.
Whatever.
Pillow behind your head.
So Will wants to know, on your Under the Sink project, did you ever think about if you needed to access the pipes? And you know what? We did, which is great, because we will need to access the pipes
when we do
because
the
we're going to get
counters.
like a new sink and a new garbage disposal.
Because our current sink is built in. It's a solid surface sink,
Yeah.
and so I'm going to have to disconnect that, and we're going to be getting a new disposal. Because that disposal is staying. It's just horrible.
It's probably
try to clean
original.
it. I mean, it's 13, 14 years old,
Yeah.
so
It's time.
It's probably time. It's like got a stink. You can't get out of it.
I mean, that sounds gross. It's not always stinky.
It's not always stinky.
But it's one of those things where you're like, oh, the garbage disposal.
And
I know you guys have been there and you've
I
experienced
look down
it.
and it's like disgusting.
Oh yeah, I don't
even
look
after we
down
clean it
there.
out, it's like corroded. And
Well, who's
whatever.
gonna like really clean?
Anyway,
that's a gross
The
conversation
answer
we don't need to have.
is yes.
Yes.
And I got a bunch of comments like on the YouTube video. They're like, well, that's nice, but what's gonna happen when you get a leak? And I'm like,
Is this your YouTube voice?
that's my troll voice. Hey, man, yeah. And I'm like, first of all, Like people are acting like I closed it off and like you can't see anything.
Right, like it's
First
like
of all,
locked in a
you
vault.
can see the entire thing from the right side, which is where
Right.
the pullout tray is, because the pipes are right in the middle. And then I had a shelf that I put in. For those who haven't seen it, you should go check it out.
Let's check it out.
I did a shelf that I screwed into the left side of the cabinet, and then using an L bracket to the base. And so, like literally, all I have to do is remove all the stuff from the shelf, unscrew, take it out.
Right.
Not a big deal at all. And for the 1 or 2 times that I will ever have to do that, it will not be a problem.
And in the meantime, every single time you open up the cabinets under the sink, it's just like, I feel like there's like the sound like, oh, and like the light
it's like a
comes
little
out.
party.
It's so nice now. I mean, it was such a pigsty before. It is so nice. So yes, that's what we're going to do.
It is.
I have another question too.
Yeah. What do you got?
Bill Builds would like to know, he wants to do floating shelves. What wood should he use?
Whatever you want, man. That's the beauty of, I mean, shelving is like so open. You don't have to, all the support's going to be coming from the actual hanging hardware that you're using. So you can use anything, like literally anything. You know, like legitimately, whatever you have. And I would, if I was ever making shelves, and when I do make shelves, it's all completely based upon, you know, either availability or looks. So like, is there something I'm really wanting it to look like? Then I'll use that, typically walnut. And if not, then it would just be what do I have available or in my budget. So like literally anything you want. Like the sky's wide open.
I've gotten an update
Yes.
on the
let's hear it.
storm names. The last 4 storms were Sally, which would be
Yeah,
Sally.
I remember Sally.
Sally, Teddy, Vicky, and Wilfred. They don't do X and Y.
Ah, see,
Yeah.
that's why I asked.
Wilfred.
Wilfred, that's
That's a name.
it is a name. Sir R. Delgado, I'd like to create an epoxy cutting board but don't have any slab of lumber. What type of board should I buy as a substitute that won't break the bank? Well, Delgado, what I would tell you first off is that I would not do an epoxy cutting board because unless you're doing, so like I did one that I did it on the end as like an accent, and I will not be using that part, and it's a serving tray, not a cutting board. You never want to really cut on epoxy because it's, you know, it's like a brittle material, right? Like if you start chopping on it, some of that can come out and then getting people's food, and also bacteria, because it's not as forgiving as wood is, as far as like soft, and like if you're on an end grain and it kind of, you know, the knife kind of can go in between the grains of the wood. So I wouldn't recommend that. But if you are doing it for more design and making it a serving board, that's cool. You can, you know, like I just love the classic look of walnut. Walnut or cherry would be my go-tos for like if you're just going to do like a slab cutting board or charcuterie board. I'll go for walnut or cherry, and then if you want something lighter, go for maple.
Yep.
All right, let's
They're
see here.
pretty.
Travis says shingles. I have no experience doing
What?
shingles.
Oh.
Yo, sorry, Cubana. Barry, I thought that's what I was getting, but I was kind of getting butchered up on it. Woodcutter, what is up? I know COVID is a pain. Tony, what's up, man? How are you? We got Eric from Timbuktu. I love it when Eric comes on from Timbuktu. And Ronaldo from Brazil.
All right.
Cannot
South
wait
America
to
in the
buy all the
house.
things. Awesome. All
All
right.
right.
What do we got going
All
on?
right, so over here, Bill wants to know, how long have you been doing woodworking and what was your first project?
I've been doing woodworking for, I mean, when I say doing woodworking, when did I do that? Was it 2001 or 2002?
I don't think we knew each other in 2001.
I think
Well, no,
my
maybe we
first,
did.
My
Maybe
first
we
project
did.
was like in 2002, so about 18 years.
Gosh, that's crazy.
And I went to a beginner woodworking,
that
an
probably was
intro to
right.
woodworking course at a Woodcraft in Cincinnati, Forest Fair Mall, if you're familiar
Forest
with
Fair
the
Mall.
area. And
Shout out to Forest Fair Mall.
shout out to Forest Fair. I think it's like a ghost town now. And we built a serving tray, and we still have it, and we still use it.
We do.
And I always tell this because it's like the dude must have just had scraps. I had no idea. I knew nothing from anything. I didn't know my walnut from my poplar from anything. And so what we built was a walnut sides and handles, and then a oak plywood, 1/4-inch oak plywood bottom.
Like you do.
Which is like the most hideous combination ever. It would never make that combination.
No.
But it is the first, like, he must have just been like, yeah, here's, like.
But you were like in love, right?
Oh yeah, but I was like, this is fantastic. And then the funny thing is my second project was a arts and crafts.
Oh gosh, that was your second project
table.
ever?
I'm pretty sure it was.
It's still in our
may have
bonus
done
room right now.
I may have done that. I can't remember.
That was a much bigger project.
It was like huge. I was like cutting Morrison tendon like by hand and everything, not by hand, but on the table saw, like no jigs and stuff. And then after that, the cabinet. Where is that even?
What cabinet? Oh,
the cabinet.
I don't know. I think it's in the walk-in.
Yeah, it's like this cabinet that I made.
It's like for over the toilet, like a
cabinet.
2-door with like the toilet paper to go in there.
From the 80s, because it's also made out of oak.
It's a little.
Everything I made was out of oak early on for some reason.
I don't know.
But anyway,
it's probably what you were
that's
comfortable
what I made.
with, you know. Yeah.
That's right. We grew up.
Yeah.
Doing that things.
So yeah,
looking at all the oak in all the places. Ray's Woodworks, what's up? We got Easy Woodworks, and Matt makes things. He's looking for a jig to sharpen his block planes, or a simple method. Let's see my block planes. I was talking earlier about the Worksharp 3000, and I do use my block plane on those because the blade is narrow enough. If you start getting up into a like number 4, number 5, you can't do those because the blade is too wide. But if you get a cheap like chisel flattening jig and then sandpaper, look up Scary Sharp. That's like a method using sandpaper. Look that up. Scary Sharp. Scary Sharp.
Let's see. What was it? Okay, so Jill Norcross is on here. She said she is hoping to do a bunch of cabinets and built-ins. She's made projects but not built furniture before. A little nervous. Suggestions to make it easier. Going to start off with shop projects.
I think already, Jill, that's a great decision because if something's going to be in your shop, then you don't have to worry about messing it up too bad. And if you do mess it up, don't worry about it. Versus like having something you're going to put in your house and be like,
fine piece of
I'm
furniture.
going to make my kitchen cabinets to start off with.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's not a great idea. I mean, more power to you, but get some experience. And that's what I did. And it was not for that reason. But when I started out, after I took these classes, I made those like really big projects like in shop. But once I was done taking these shop classes, it was community class. It was night school basically at her
where I taught
where
high
she
school.
taught it at the high school. She taught it. They had a shop and they taught night classes, and so that's what I did. I went to those. That's how I learned a lot and got the experience. I think I took that for 2 years.
Yeah, probably
2 sessions, maybe 3 semesters.
And I had done one session of woodworking.
And she did as well.
That's how I won him over, because I have a bookcase. We've talked about this before, that I made there with a lot of assistance from Jim Dickerson, the shop teacher, great guy.
Yeah,
and
awesome.
So when Brad was like, "Oh, you did woodworking," I was like, "Yeah, I made that."
She's like, "I made this," and I was like, "It's like completely raw."
It's so basic, but you know what? We still use it. It's in our daughter's bedroom right now, and it holds toys perfectly well.
It legitimately is like unfinished, just poplar.
It really is. I have like there's even like would it be a rabbit on the back that's cut in?
Yep.
Yeah, I even know that. And like to like put a backer on there of some sort. Never did that. Never has happened.
All good.
Yeah.
So I would start with the shop projects and build what you need. So if you need some organization and storage, build a base cabinet, build like some things like what I have behind me, some wall cabinets, because they're easy builds, and I do have plans available that'll walk you through that if you need that. I also have videos, so if you're good by learning just through videos, you can check those out. But if you want the cut lists and everything that show you exactly where to cut and step-by-step instructions, I do have plans available for that on the website, so you can go check those out. And either way, consume a lot of content, watch it, and you can start picking up on some of the things and the techniques on how to build it. That's going to help you a lot anyway, but it's always different from watching and doing. And so starting with the shop projects, I think it is the right choice. And then once you get your confidence going there, then you can move and start doing some stuff in the house. And then the great thing is that you also build out your shop and get things off the floor. That was always like an issue for me. I had things like in milk crates and like I didn't know where everything was. So that's why I've spent a ton of time making shop cabinets, because I love having a place for everything and everything in its place. And like it just makes me feel good when I'm out here. And so I want to be out here, which makes me want to do woodworking more. So great question, and good luck
Yeah.
on your
Good luck.
first build.
Absolutely.
Definitely let me know what you end up doing.
Yep.
Let's see here. Saludos from Argentina. What's up, Zeta B? We got New
Chile has
Mexico.
not
Jay
been in the house
Gonzalez. Yeah, we got a lot of Spanish, the Spanish Espanol gentes.
Okay.
Gentes de Español.
What's a hinte?
Gente is like people.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. I didn't know.
Gente.
It sounds cool. I don't know. All right. So, yes. Joe, we do these videos every Sunday night. She was wondering.
Joe's asking if we've ever been to Michigan.
We've been to Michigan.
Yeah. That's
We love Michigan.
I almost just said like our brother-in-law lives there. They don't live there.
They
He's
don't.
from.
They still
I
live
feel
in
like
Ohio.
He lives there. He's on,
Yeah.
They
So
go to
we
Michigan
met-
a lot. His
I'm-
dad's up there.
Yeah, I'm from Ohio, and he's from here. He's from Nashville. We met up there and lived there for a long time. And we went in Cincinnati, not Michigan. But we went to Michigan. We've gone to Michigan many times. But yeah, they have a cabin up there on the
Crystal
lake.
Lake, and it's fantastic.
So pretty. Yeah. I would love to just be in Michigan in the summer. In the winter,
Yeah. And Michigan's only
Maybe
good
not.
like in one season, and that's
that's
summer,
not true.
so
I bet the fall is beautiful.
No, it's not.
But
Sorry.
you just
What?
don't like
I
cold
don't know.
weather.
Whatever.
Anyway. All right, let's see.
What do we got?
Oh, what? Oh, man.
I don't know. All I saw was thick. Andrew's like something. Oh, and I bet Andrew was talking about Andrew at Designable Co. He made this like cutting board. It was like, I think he got his dimensions wrong for like what was supposed to be the thickness and what was supposed to be the width.
Oh, no.
It's kind of a joke.
Okay.
It was like super beefy,
Just
and
like
it
a
was
big
like
block.
small, but it was like pretty small. I was like, holy
That's great.
crap. Yeah, the thing looked like it was like 3 inches thick.
That's funny. Taylor Hubble's here. Hey,
T-Hub in the
Taylor.
house. What's up, bro?
That's fun. Oh, gosh. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're all caught up now.
Rick, has anyone had the guide bearings go out on a bandsaw? I have.
Ooh.
I have had the guide bearings go
Sounds
out.
important.
And it's actually not that important.
No? Guide bearings?
I mean, it is, but it's not. And sometimes you can't tell. So the reason you'll typically tell, so 2 things. First of all, let me tell you the reason why they typically go out. I mean, because that's why mine did. The reason that guide bearings, and if you don't know what guide bearings are, the way a bandsaw works is, it's the blade. I wrap this thing around my finger because that's what I do. A bandsaw works, it's got a circular blade, right? And so the teeth are pointing out towards you guys, and it rotates around like that. So it's a strip of metal that rotates around. And what puts that in place is guide bearings. It guides the blade. And so there's typically 2 bearings on the top of the blade above the table that ride up and down on the head. And then there's 2 below the table. So those are kind of guiding the blade to make sure it's not deflecting and you can get a straight cut. And so, and you typically are getting those pretty close. So like the rule of thumb that I've always used or heard is like a piece of paper or like a dollar bill. That's how close you want them. So you don't want it touching, but you want it right there. So as soon as it deflects just a little bit, that bearing is kind of there to support it. But if you get it too tight, then that bearing is always moving. So if it's like touching the blade, then your bearing is constantly moving, even when you're not putting any pressure on it, because that's typically, the guide bearings are there to keep it, so you don't, when you go left, it's pushing it back right. When you go right, it's pushing it back left. So typically they're only spinning when you're needing them to spin. But if you have them too tight, then they will spin all the time, and obviously that's going to wear a bearing out way faster. That's what happened to me, and I didn't really realize it.
Sounds very tricky.
It is a little bit tricky. It's a little finesse, but I didn't realize it until like it started making more noise. Because like when a bearing is out, it will make really crazy noises sometimes. Sometimes it'll just lock up and it won't even move. But yeah, that's when you can see it. And then they're really easy to replace. It's typically just an Allen head screw that you just a little bolt that you take out, pull it off, put it back in, and you just have to get the right sized ones. And they're pretty cheap. They're like, maybe like $15 for like a set for the whole thing, like of 6 of them. I got 6 on my old one. I don't know if I have 4 or 6. Well, and there's also on the back. So I have 6 because I've got 2. Actually, I think I have 8 because there's 2 at each part now on this new one. And then there's a larger guide bearing, thrust bearing on it that is a whole different story. But anyway, it's very easy to replace. The biggest thing would be adjustment. And I would say go check out Alex Snodgrass. He's got some great videos. He did one with Mark, the Wood Whisperer, and they did a video on setting up your bandsaw, and it's really great.
Oh,
So
it's good.
yeah,
Bill wants to know what's on your right hand.
it's this is the cable tie, or the
Velcro.
It's a Velcro cable tie that
just playing with
for
it.
the Focusrite, and I will put it right there. 'Cause if I ever
He's
have
like,
something,
what is on his hand?
I
I'm
just
like,
mess with it.
I don't know. That's true. Yep.
It's
all
probably
caught
like
up.
in the microphone, like.
Yeah. Oh, I was already told that when I was swallowing my water, they could hear me swallow. I'm like, oh no! So I'm trying to take really small sips
That's the
now.
ASMR. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Baddest Crafts says,
Crafts. What?
Baddest Crafts. Baddest Crafts. That's just the name.
That's awesome. Like, I've got the baddest crafts
The
around.
Baddest Crafts around. Says, how much
be
room
like
do you
a
have in my
great-
shop? The shop is 31 by 19. I have a couple shop tours out on the YouTube channel you can go check out. I think I may even have 3 of them now. Frank, a Marine out in California. Frank, welcome, and thank you for your service, sir. Let's see here.
you.
Matt makes things. In a non-building question, what camera do I use for videos and programs do I use for editing? Matt, go check out my website. You can go to fixthisbuildout.com/tools, and I have all of my woodworking tools and all my video and editing. But just briefly, I use the GH5S to shoot. I use a Sigma Art 1.8 lens, 18-35. And I use not Final Cut, I use Premiere Pro to do the editing. So if you want to get all the juicy details on the microphones and all the other stuff that I use, you can go check that out on the website.
Super juicy.
Super juicy.
Yep.
Fultz Woodworks. I love it. She says Michigan has all the seasons in one day. If you watch the weather.
Yep.
This is true.
Somebody said that over here too. What was the same person? Big Willie's Garage says, I'm from Michigan. Michigan's like an angry woman. We'll have all 4 seasons in one day.
There you go. I guess that's a thing.
Yeah,
We've
I
got
could see
agreement.
that.
Tipster, how do you decide on cabinet color? That's a very interesting and open question, because it depends on where you want it. I mean, we were talking earlier about that we got granite. We're getting granite for our kitchen. And so what we're doing is getting the granite first, and then we're going to decide what we want to paint the cabinets, like what shade of white we're going to do a white.
Yeah, my favorite was when you were like, let's just get white. Like, white is white. I'm like, oh, no.
I know.
There are like a million shades of white.
Yes.
So that'll be the way to do it.
But, I mean, it's all personal preference, because you can always use stain. There's natural wood, obviously determines a lot of it, the color of the wood, whether you're using something like a birch, if you're using something like a maple or a walnut, you can't really get that lighter, but you could stain the lighter woods darker. So it's all personal preference. So it's completely up to you. And then getting there is the other story. We got Fort Collins, Colorado, Restored Design. What's up? Thank you, man. Says he is enjoying the content.
Good.
Paris Sephir, what's up? Where do I epoxy liquid glass and I sell for a living? Dave Anderson. I do all my epoxy from Total Boat. I don't do a lot of deep pours, so Total Boat is a good partner of mine, and I am not looking for a new supplier at the moment. But thank you very much for the offer. Let's see here. Oh, they wanted to.
What?
They're talking about charcoal. They wanted to do his cabinets charcoal.
Oh.
That's like a super dark.
Like what cabinets? Inside shop?
It sounded
kitchen?
like it's inside. I want to decide on a charcoal color.
I think that'd be cool.
I want to decide on, that would be kind of cool.
I mean, like we're talking about doing our
Very
island
trendy,
a different color. Yeah.
Could
but
be
we're only going to do
potentially-
like one freestanding element, a fun color.
To tie in, right.
Yeah, because then that way, if we ever wanted to repaint it, it would just be one thing. But charcoal would be cool as long as your room isn't super dark. I don't think our kitchen gets enough light to be able to handle that kind of business.
Alfonso Leon. I like Leon. Let's see here. Asking about melamine. Any projects using melamine? I do have some projects that I've used melamine on, and it's all been form work. So melamine is great for making forms for concrete or epoxy, and because it's very flat, and then it also has that surface on it. So like on concrete, you can just go straight on it. On epoxy, you probably still want to have some like tuck tape on there. But I've done a few, 2-3 projects with concrete tops, and I've used melamine for those. Mm-hmm. I don't like melamine very much. I always saw Norm work with melamine if he was doing like kitchen cabinets, like interior stuff. I was like, oh, that'd be pretty cool. And man, it chips out a lot. It's very chippy, the veneer, because the veneer is super thin and it's very heavy, and it's just a pain in the butt. So I would not build anything out of melamine personally. I would probably do a laminate if I wanted that type surface. Like if I wanted a melamine top style for like a workbench, I'd probably do it MDF and then put a laminate on top of it, like a Formica type laminate.
I'm sorry, is MDF different than melamine?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was thinking MDF. What's melamine then?
The white stuff.
Well, then how's it different than MDF?
Does that look like MDF?
Kind of. I don't know.
Are you being serious right now?
It's white and shiny on the outside.
Do you know what MDF is?
I guess maybe not.
I don't think you do.
What's MDF? Oh, no. I got it. MDF is when it's like all hard pressed together. I was thinking of both of those being
like
the
particle
same.
board. So like the interior of melamine is, it's like, I don't know what it technically would call it. It's kind of chipboard, OSB. It's not OSB. It's thinner than OSB. Like it's more ground up. Chipboard, particle board, I guess is what you would call it. Particle board probably is the right term. And then MDF is like very fine.
Yeah,
not layers.
It's not layers.
No,
it's just kind of pushed together. Yeah. Okay.
It's just kind of. So
that
when
makes
you look
more
at
sense.
it's if you think about it, it's like a dust. It's like the dust, the fiber dust, and then they just put resin with it and just.
That's delightful.
Yeah, that's why when you cut it, like the dust is so bad because it's already.
Well, and anyone that knows Brad well at all knows he like hates dust in all forms, like in the shop for sure, even in our house, like in the late afternoon when the sun's coming through at the right angle and there's just like dust, you know, like he's like, I mean, not all the time, but sometimes, every once in a while, just to keep it honest.
I've done that.
It has been a little while.
You know, I used to get the fans out.
Oh,
I used to get a box fan, like a 20-inch box fan, and then put a pleated filter on it because I was like, this place is just so dusty. And I'll just run. I'm just trying to like pull out the dust out of the air.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And we've got carpet like everywhere on the first floor.
I mean, like we're
on
just doomed.
So that's a losing.
We don't have pets though. I think if we did, it would be even more stuff in the air.
Yes.
But that's all right.
Garden State Woodshop. This is the 212. It's the Focusrite, or excuse me, 2i2. How much do you think you have invested in your shop and tools, Joaquin Fernando?
Oh, that's a
Dude,
scary question.
I don't want to think about that. In all honesty,
oh my gosh.
I mean, I've been lucky enough. You know, the past 3 years, I've gotten a lot of tools in trade for work through sponsorships, through sponsored deals. So that's been nice. But before that, and then I would include all the money I've spent like on my shop cabinets, like all the shop furniture. I mean, I've probably spent just in plywood. I've probably spent like $1,000 in plywood and all the stuff. Man, that might be a bit high, but probably not too far off.
It's pretty expensive. Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money on plywood, and as far as like hand tool, I don't know, man. Probably like tens of thousands of dollars for sure. But that's over the course of like 15, 18 years. So, you know.
It's a slow accumulation.
It's slow accumulation, and I used to buy a lot of stuff off Craigslist. So when I was first getting geared up, I would buy everything that I could off of Craigslist or get a deal on it at Home Depot or Lowe's or whoever had the deals at the time, Amazon.
You're always a deal finder.
I'm a deal finder. So I've spent a lot of money, but it's all like I try to never buy full retail tools because I just wait, and I'd either buy it used and get a smoking deal used that might have a little rough around the edges, and that's how I got my saw stop. Or I would wait and then buy something that was 20% off or 25% off or close out, and that's how I bought my first dust collector, my miter saw, my table saw, my first table saw.
Well, and I was going to say that actually kind of goes along. So Jill over here is asking, like, at what point do you need a, I'm sorry, what did she say? A bandsaw? No.
Bandsaw?
She was saying.
Bandsaw?
Not a bandsaw.
Box MFG, what is up?
Yeah. She said, do I have to have a bandsaw, or could I just get away with the jigsaw that I have?
Absolutely.
And people are giving her lots of advice and
comments.
comments.
No, you can 100% get away with jigsaw.
Right.
Unless you want to do resawing.
Well, and it sounds like it's more of a space issue, possibly a budget issue, but I was just going to say.
Start with the jigsaw.
Right. But as she's accumulating tools, or anyone's accumulating tools, Craigslist,
Facebook
Marketplace,
now.
like any place
Back
like that
then,
where
that
you can
wasn't a
get
thing.
stuff used is going to be your best friend.
Faults. What poly would I use for a project that is going to be outside?
Poly? Oh,
Polyurethane. I would use this, man. This is my
it
go-to
Gleam?
these days. It's not really a poly. It's a spar varnish, which poly is a varnish, but varnish is not poly. Is this guy? It's a spar urethane, spar varnish. And this is Gleam 2.0 Marine Spar Varnish from Total Boat. I've used this on my outdoor furniture. This works. I used to use Helmsman spar urethane, and that stuff failed. Minwax, that stuff failed so fast. And this has held up a lot better than the Minwax. So those are the two that I've had experience with directly. This one's working way better than the Helmsman has. And it's what you would expect because it's a marine varnish.
Yeah.
It's more expensive, but it...
Do you feel like you have to use as much of it?
Yeah.
Are you using about the same amount of material? It's just going to hold up longer.
Yeah, I think it has... I don't know. I don't know if it just has more... I don't know the composition, if it has more solids or I don't know like how that protection works, but
Yeah.
I think it's about the same.
Are they both equally stinky?
Oh, that stuff is way stinky.
Really?
They're both spar urethanes. Yeah, they're both nasty.
Definitely
but,
wear the proper...
yeah, if you're using
ventilation.
anytime you're using oil-based stuff, it's going to be like super stinky. So, hope that helps there. Tom the Tool Man, am I buying MDF in bulk or at the box store? I buy MDF very rarely, so I buy it at the box store.
We've got another question about lumber. Have you been impacted by the spike in wood prices from the wildfires? Somebody else was asking about when do you think the price of lumber is going to go back down?
Man, I have no idea because I don't know I think different things are driving different types because like select pine from New Zealand is being driven differently. Then you have like the plywood prices that are up, like OSB and stuff like that because of the hurricane season. So there's like 3 or 4 different things going on.
That's true.
That are affecting. You have COVID, and then you've got the fires out west. So it's all.
And then you've got all the rain and everything.
It's just this like perfect storm of crazy stuff going on where everything's going on.
It's 2020.
Yeah. I need to get some more Baltic birch actually, and I don't know. I mean, since that's coming out of the Baltic, I'm hoping.
I'm sorry. Where does
Baltic,
it come?
like Russia.
Oh,
That's why they call it Baltic birch.
I didn't know that. I just thought it was a cool name. Good alliteration
cool
there. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's depending upon what individually is driving it up, and it's probably more than one thing. We're gonna have to wait till that stuff passes. So.
Yeah, that stinks.
I don't know. Kayla Margaret. What's up, Kayla? She says, what causes the left side of the drawer to stick out after installing drawer slides? It always happens. And the right side always comes out perfect, but not the left.
Oh.
Kayla, I feel you like big time because I've installed a lot of drawers. And that occasionally does happen to me. So the quick answer is I don't have an answer for you. I've tried different things, and what I know doesn't work is if you just scoot the rail back on the drawer. So you have like the rails and then the sliders on the cabinet. So I thought, oh, this right side's sticking out. I'm gonna scoot it back. Well, opposite, I guess. Scoot the other one out and try to like adjust it that way, and that never works. So I think it could be lots of things because it's obviously some type of alignment issue, but it could be with the carcass, and then like if you're spacing it the same distance from the front edge, but those two front edges aren't necessarily coplanar, then that could be a problem. But yeah, you can try some of those micro adjustments, try to move the cabinet portion of the slide back a little bit so that it pulls it back. I've had hit or miss issues. What I typically do more often than not is shim the right side out. So if the left side is out a little bit, it's much easier to just put a shim in between the false front and the drawer and pull that out just a little bit. If you're worried about it being like that, if it's sticking out way too much, then that's another story. At that point I would move both of the actual cabinet side parts of the drawer slides back and see if that helps. But I know that's a huge pain in the butt because then like you're trying to move it in the hole, and if you didn't use one of the horizontal holes, then you can't gosh, that's the worst. So I feel you. Like I said, hope that hope that helps. Let's see here. Anisimo Francisco, greetings from Florida. Building a chunky turned leg 7-foot table, maple and oak.
Nice.
Other than mortise and tenon, how would I attach the legs to the aprons other than mortise and tenon? You could do removable legs, and you could do the where you basically have a floating apron, and you don't physically attach that to the legs, depending upon where you're trying to do it. So if you're not going to move it, you could always use dowels. But if you want the legs to be detachable, and this would be an aerial view. I'm just going to write this down here, then I'll talk to it. Or if you've got the aprons, and then you've kind of got a joint that goes across here, and I'll show you guys in just 1 second what I'm doing. All right. So if you have, these would be your aprons looking down on that, ignore that line right there. But if these are the aprons, then these would be like floating. And then you typically have like a wooden brace that goes across on the corner. And then you cut an angle on the leg. Again, this is top looking down. So if you have if your leg is proud of your aprons, which it probably is, and then a bolt, so 2 bolts that would go in there like lag bolts. That it's like those double-ended bolts where one is like a lag screw and then the other is a machine screw. And so then you would put that through this little piece right here. You see this a lot on like commercial tables, and then you would just put washers and nuts on that. So I don't know exactly what that's called. If anybody does, shout that out. But that's another way to do it, where your legs would then be removable. I've seen that in a lot of the tables that we've bought commercially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't really see many people doing that, like building them, but I see it a lot on like commercial build outs.
Right. Totally.
What do we have here?
People are just sort of chatting. Yeah. Discussing the best tools to buy. Lots of vote for Ryobi. Just kind of chatting amongst themselves over here.
Chatting. All right, let me see if I can blast through some Instagram questions here if we have any. Any tip for someone trying to work in their garage? Seems like I'm a storage master. Wife always complains about car parking. Red's woodwork, 100%. I would say go check out my modular garage cabinets because they are 20 inches deep. I'm a huge proponent of cabinets to get all your stuff organized and then have everything else mobile. Yep. Go check out my shop tour and then check out the 5 storage cabinets on my YouTube channel. Oh, I said that so choppy. So I was trying to think. The 5 garage storage cabinets, whatever, 5 storage options. And you can see some of those options. That's what I've done personally. Even though we don't park in here.
We don't.
We could. Because, I mean, I would if I moved everything every day.
I guess so.
That would be
a
horrible. Huge pain.
Yeah, no, and I was going to say,
all mobile.
If you're trying to convince your wife to not park in the garage, which I don't know how successful you will be, but 2 things. Build her things she wants. Just be like, make me a list and like commit to building some of the things that she wants.
Chocolate.
You're probably already doing this. Well, chocolate always goes without saying. And get her, if she doesn't already have it, a remote start on her car so that 100%. It can be heating and cooled.
Best decision of my life.
What? Never getting it from a car. Yes, that's what I would do because that's what worked for me.
Joaquin Fernando, over time, the quality of tools facilitates, improves the quality of work, 100%. Yes, because I do believe that you can get by building with lower budget tools. Like I started off with Ryobi. A lot of people use Ryobi tools. They're inexpensive entry-level tools, and they can get the job done. But there are tools that are better that will get the job done easier and give you more features, especially as you start getting into table saws, drill presses, band saws, larger tools. A lot of the hand tools, honestly, the Ryobi stuff is going to be just as good as most of them for most of the use cases. If you're trying to do like really high torque applications, stuff like that, yes, the better stuff is gonna perform better. A lot of the hand tool stuff is more. And now even Ryobi and even Rigid are starting to get the message and starting to go compact. But that was always the thing. Like Ryobi, Rigid were very big tools compared to like the DeWalt's, the Milwaukee's, the Makitas, and so is more of an ergonomics type thing. But yeah, absolutely. The more you invest in the tool, typically, the better it's going to be, and that will also pay you dividends. In a lot of times, it's in precision of the tool, because like like a Ryobi miter saw. I mean, they'll work, but they are not made to the same tolerances as like a Festool, which I wouldn't say you need a Festool, but just the opposite end of the spectrum. Let's see here. Yeah, Onissimo. I would, Francisco. I would, take it as a time to practice those Morrison tendons. The great thing is a lot of times, most of that joint is going to be hidden. So if you have it, if it's a total shoulder around everything, you don't have to make it perfect. And then as you start making them, you'll get better by the time you finish up. So, all right. Anything else here before we go? They're called hanger bolts, by the way. So hanger bolts. Thank you very much for that, Andrew. And yeah, there you go. Machine thread on one side and lag on the other. I love it. Yep. All right. Well, we are going to get ripping. It is 10 o'clock.
Get it ripping.
And we're gonna head out. So
that's right.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. Yep. And we will be back here again on Sunday.
We will.
I didn't talk about the. I mean, it's going to be a while, but we are getting perilously close.
That sounds like it's a bad thing.
It might be.
It's not.
1 million subscribers on YouTube. So thank you so much to everybody who is subscribing.
Thank you.
If you're not subscribing,
join us.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
You want to be in that first million, because after that, you can't say that anymore.
It'll be a long time until we're hitting our second million.
But anyway, we have some things that we are working on and planning. So we are at 990 something thousand at this point.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's close.
I think it's like 991. So we're at the low end of 990s, but
we are in the 990s.
We're in the 990s, yes. So this is going to be coming pretty soon, potentially by the end of the month, and we are going to be thinking of some things that we want to do. We'll probably do a live. That's the idea. Is we're going to do a live with some giveaways, some fun stuff. I am starting to work on a video about that, kind of like a thank you video and a bit of almost like an origin story video to answer some of these other questions that people always ask about me and my background and all this stuff, and kind of just take a little bit of time to tell that story and reflect. And I'm super excited about that. But we will let you guys know, because there are going to be some cool giveaways we're going to do. And we're also going to, by the way, we have memberships now. I forgot to say that. We have memberships now on YouTube. So if for whatever reason you hate Patreon, you can go to YouTube.
You have another option.
And have another option there. But yeah, so that is going to be coming up, and we will let you guys know a lot more about that. And it will probably not be Sunday night for that live show, because it's just a lot of people are not available, especially on the East Coast.
Well, you said we're probably going to take a poll or something to see
we'll probably
mostly
do a poll.
available.
I'll do a poll out there in the YouTube community tab, and ask folks, but it'll probably be like a Wednesday night maybe, or like it might even be like a Wednesday afternoon. Don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. We'll figure it out.
Monday,
we'll let you know. Keep you posted.
Be there. No. All right, but anyway, we're getting super excited about that, and thank you guys so much for all your support. So get out there, have a great week, and build something awesome this week. And hit us up on DMs, whatever, if you got some cool stuff to share with us. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, have a good one.
Bye. Good night. Hey. Oh, go ahead.